What is up guys, it's your boy Mickey here and I'm back on the driveway with my dad doing another modification to the BMW. So what we're going to be doing today is that famous V-bar look the newer BMWs have. My BMW is from 2010 and unfortunately we haven't got that cool modification that you find behind the grills. So if I remove this here, in the newer BMWs there's that crash bar that's the shape of a V. And what people generally end up doing is wrapping them red or yellow, and it changes the whole look of the car. So if you guys are unfortunate like me, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do it, so keep tuned. The tools you'll need are a set of the Torx T-hand set tools, and first we'll be removing the screws from the top of the grille. This will allow a bit of play. Just remember guys to be careful because there's a little star shape bracket, I'd say, and that does get stuck. So after removing the nuts on top of the bumper, it will allow a bit of play for you to fit a spanner to remove the clips from the grille. This is very delicate because they can snap. I snapped 2 from my grille, so be very careful. As you can see, the clips are behind, but they are pretty strong. Once your bumper and grills are looking like this, when everything's been removed, you have to come up with an idea what to use. So in my case, we came up with 2 ideas: a bit of plastic tubing, or we found in our back garden a bit of metal tubing. I suggest the metal tubing is a bit better, as it's a bit stronger and it looks a bit better, but it should come out the same. So next, you have to measure how much tubing you need. So remember, the more tubing you have, better it is. So make sure you don't cut it too short. If you cut it too short, you're going to see the end, and we don't want to see that.
To get this much size in.
So maybe about 1 or 2 centimeters away from the bracket of the grille, so you can't see any gaps or any end bits. What we also done here, we made a hole. As you can see, we drilled a hole over there and one on top. The reason we done like this is obviously the V shape, and we drilled them 2 holes, maybe about 2.3 millimeters, something like that. So what we're going to do, our idea was we're going to be fitting the V-bar, the piece of metal, in being held by zip ties. So we're going to make some holes in the metal to be held by the zip ties. But before we get to that, we're going to have to prime it, cut it, and prepare it for painting. Next, you're going to have to cut the piece of metal according to the size that you measured. Remember, about 2 centimeters above each corner. And then the cuts we did is, this will be the top. The reason we cut this in this shape and angle is just because the top doesn't have much space, so we thought it'd be easier to run the zip tie like this, and it will allow a bit of play. And at the bottom, we simply just ran the grinder through and made enough space for the zip tie to fit, so it'll be something like this. Next, we just cleaned the metal tubing, ready for primer. After adding a bit of primer, we just used a very thin sandpaper and just passed it slowly on top. And then we applied the final coat of red, and the final product should look something like this. Remember guys, the cuts you won't be able to see, and this bit here we haven't painted will be in the bottom, will be hidden on the car, and you won't be able to see. So guys, after finally realizing the mistake I made, I put the bars, the tubing the wrong way up, and we sorted it out the next day. We just done the same principle again, just made some holes using zip ties, and it looks perfect. As you can see, it makes the car look way more aggressive and it looks badass.